Jerome here, and today I'm reviewing The Last Slimeto. The Last Slimeto is the 4th studio album and 29th project overall by the rapper who never sleeps, Baton Rouge, Louisiana native YoungBoy Never Broke Again. The first thing that really stuck out to me was the length of this album. It's 30 tracks long, but only an hour and 20 minutes. Most of the tracks are a little shorter. They don't really feel like they overstay their welcome, but wow, is 30 songs a lot. This is a gargantuan album, not for the faint of heart. And if a lot of these songs trend downward, if there's a lot of mid on this album, it's gonna be a nightmare. So I was very nervous going into listening to this, but I was impressed. I get the impression that YoungBoy can do this for 100 songs. I get the impression that he can rap until he falls over. He never stops. He never runs out of material. If anybody can release a 30-song album, it's this guy. What really sets YoungBoy apart is his vocals. They're very melodic, at times very aggressive, but appropriately so. He hums aggressively. Like, who's ever done that? On Freedom 5s, he's kind of shouting all of his lyrics like he's yelling directly at somebody, like it's all pointed, it's all targeted, and you definitely feel it. You definitely pick up on his energy very quickly. It's convincing. His lyricism typically falls into one of two camps. He's either kind of rapping to his diary, going over his emotions, or he's swinging his dick around. And I'm all for it. I feel like you don't really need that deep of subject material for a genre like this. A lot of the music hinges on its energy, hinges on how it makes you feel, and not so much on getting a message across or telling a story. The purpose of the rap song is more important than whatever metric you might have to measure art, to measure poetry. He's talking his shit. And he's entitled to do that, and the songs give him the platform he needs to do it, and he sticks the landing every time. So that's what's important to me. His singing voice is a lot more impressive than people give him credit for. Yes, he's a very aggressive rapper. Yes, he's very in your face, but there's something beautiful about his melodic, floaty vocals. On the slower tempo tracks, you really get to hear all the emotions come through in his voice. You really get to hear the conviction that he speaks with. His tone is always on point. And there's not many rappers that can dip in and out of this sort of clean singing vocal back into their regular, fast, upbeat rapping flow. But he pulls it off effortlessly, seamlessly. The transitions between these two modes is barely noticeable at points. There's not many artists alive at all that can do what he's done on this album. The energy on this album was fantastic. Whatever YoungBoy said, I felt before I understood. Just his delivery, his approach, his cadence, it's all very, very convincing. Songs like 7 Days make me straight up want to commit crimes. It really gets your heart rate bumping, and I feel like it accomplishes its goal in that. I feel like there's a lot of attempts to hijack people's emotions in modern music lately, to artificially inflate this sense of energy with the production, but even when the production is weak, YoungBoy delivers. I really appreciated how short the songs were. Like I said earlier, a 30-track album can feel kind of like a chore a lot of the time, but in this instance, they never really overstayed their welcome. The songs were here for a verse or two, maybe a hook, and then they were gone, on to the next one. It was a very well-paced album. I loved how the tracks were spread out. I will say the beats are kind of run-of-the-mill. There's nothing all that impressive. Although there isn't anything bad, there's no outright unlistenable beats. Nothing blew me away. Nothing sticks out. There's tons of piano melodies, trap drums, predictable 808 runs, lots of trendy sounds on this album, but nothing that really sticks out, unfortunately. And I feel like when you're adhering to a genre, adhering to a specific form of delivery that almost completely disregards hooks, that isn't so focused on the commercial viability of your music, the re-listenability of your music, I think it's important that these beats stand out. I think it's really important that they have their own identity between tracks. And while adhering to this formula, adhering to the same style, track after track, piano melody after piano melody, trap song after trap song after trap song, it gives your album identity. I wish the tracks themselves had more identity. Because of this, the track list did kind of drag on towards the end. I was really feeling it at first. The pacing was good. I wasn't ever disappointed, but after about 24 songs, I was kind of ready for the album to be over. The last few, it was hard for me to keep up with them. It was hard for me to keep my focus, but I did it. And they weren't bad. None of the songs were bad. YoungBoy is certainly the star of the show here. I just felt like if they cut some of the fluff, it would have definitely been a better project overall. The last Slimeto is an extremely impressive display of skill. The way that YoungBoy just glides on top of every track and gives it exactly what every track needs, exactly when they need it. Very few artists are capable of this, even today. What ultimately holds this album back for me is the beat selection, the lack of focus, and the bloated track list. There's a 9 hiding in here somewhere, but as it stands right now, I'm gonna have to give it a 6. Some songs that really stood out to me were Home Ain't Home featuring Rod Wave and I Hate YoungBoy. I would recommend this album to anyone who's appreciated a YoungBoy verse in the past, anyone who's wanted to delve more into his sound. This is a perfect presentation of what he's capable of, what he tends to sound like. This is definitely your introduction. This is what you're looking for. I recommend this album to anyone who needs a confidence boost and anyone who needs some upbeat, high-tempo, aggressive music. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you thought about the last Slimeto in the comments below. If you appreciate what I had to say, make sure you leave a like. That really helps me out. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss Tuesday's video where I'm going to be reviewing In Utero by Nirvana. So until then, peace.